initially agreed with Suki. Being a fairy is lame, but then I thought about she's got like that fairy fire that she can shoot out of her hands if people are messing with her. So unless we see some more of that, her being a fairy is gonna be lame. Cause like can't fairies like make stuff pretty or whatever? Like she should have been able to wave her hand and clean up Grant's house. Like her and Jason shouldn't have had to scrub the place from top to bottom. And I loved how Jason said it. Sook's gonna do what Sook's gonna do, and now she's on, Eric's torture carousel. So there you go. Finally, Bill told Sookie what she was. Finally on the show. I had heard it already before then. I loved how he got kicked out of Jason's place and like he had to float out of the house because his welcome was revoked. So I didn't know you could do that. Have they done that before? I don't remember doing that before. That's really convenient. But then it has to be the owner of the place. So like if a vampire was attacking you in somebody else's house, it wouldn't work. Right? Okay. Um and like I was like, what was he gonna do when he got to Fantasia? Eric should have more guards there at Fantasia, don't you think? I mean, there's always some drama there. So he should have more people working there to guard the place. That's just my thought. What I took from Lafayette and his boyfriend's head trip is that they were supposed to be they're both some type of, I want to say witch doctor, shaman. I don't know. I feel like though, a witch doctor doesn't necessarily have to be evil because they can like do healing stuff. So I feel like Lafayette is more of a healing type of witch doctor, and Jesus is probably more of an evil witch doctor. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It's interesting. I'm really glad that Tara told Sookie what happened, but here's my commentary on that. It was messed up what went on, but really, Franklin was just some dude that she met in a bar and turned out to be crazy. I am still rolling with the theory that Franklin didn't know that Tara was friends with Sookie. That was just a happy coincidence. She was just some chick that he picked up in a bar. So he wasn't like, he hadn't set his sights on Tara. It's just like, oh, you happen to know her. And so he was just some dude that she met in a bar, and he happened to be crazy. Like any kind of serial killer story you hear, that's sometimes part of it. It's some dude that somebody meets and they turn out to be crazy. So her projecting all this about all this vampire hate, he happened to be a vampire, and I have to agree with Nan Flanagan. It's like, I mean, he was a crazy vampire. Not all vampires are crazy. He happened to be crazy, so you should take his actions as his actions and not his vampirism. Like she pointed out with Jeffrey Dahmer, like that's true. So I do agree with her on that. Well, we got to learn Pam's full name, Pamela something DeBolfer. That's what I thought he was saying. And he's trying to will all his stuff to her, and she's constantly snapping on him. That was pretty funny. Uh, and it wasn't cool that she was like so willing to give up Sookie, but I mean, she cares more about Eric than Sookie, so I did understand that. What they should have done though was, I don't know who was directing this, but Eric should have been sitting down, and Sookie should have been in his lap. Since he's like 15 feet tall and she's like 3 feet tall, that was really awkward and uncomfortable. So he should have been sit down and he could have pulled her on his lap, or he could have sat her on a shelf or something. Like that was really stupid. I think I wrote the most about Jason for this episode, but I'm going to try to keep it short. First of all, I loved his reaction when he walks in the house and there's Bill and Sookie, and he's like, what happened? And then Sookie's like, oh, well, it was two werewolves after me and also a vampire. And he just throws his hands up and rolls his eyes and like walks off. It's like, there's never any drama with you. Like, Jason cannot deal. He's not smart enough to deal with all this drama. I mean, he really isn't. All this stuff bumping around his head. So he did release some of the pressure. Told Tara about eggs. He told Sookie about eggs and Franklin. That helped release some of the pressure from all this stuff because it was just too much drama going on. Too much. And it's really great that he was able to do that. This episode had everybody telling everybody everything, which was it was fantastic, but everybody was just spilling their guts. So what else? The other two things I have to complain about, well, not complain about, but comment on are about Crystal. First of all, I was really annoyed. She's yelling at Jesus and Lafayette about they better help him, and if he dies, you know, we're gonna kick your butt. And it's like they were under no obligation to do anything with her dad after Sam beat his face in. They were bystanders at the bar. Their only obligation was to call for help. That's it. Like for them, like Jesus is, of course, he was like in nurse mode, so he scoops him up, puts him in the car. But other than that, it's like no, and you're snapping on me, and I'm trying to help you, but she has no home training, so what are you gonna do? Which brings me to my other point about Crystal. I just, like when they do all this weird stuff. At least in my mind, the first thing I think of is like you're descended from a line of whatever. And felines are some of the most neat knit, persnickety, fastidious creatures on the planet. And maybe this is irony on Charlene Harris's part, but they are the most grungy, filthy, inbreeding, meth dealing. Like, there's no way these people are descended from felines. Like, if anybody was going to be a werepanther, it'd be like Pam or Eric, because they're really vain and they're always, you know, groomed and that kind of thing. So, at least that was just in my head. That was the first thing I thought of. What else? I wrote so much about what I thought about Jason. The other thing was, I mean, I can't stand Crystal's family, but for the first time, because you see her father and her relationship and her interacting with her father, it's like 10 times worse than her boyfriend was bad, who clearly beats her, but this was even worse because this is her dad. Like, I can't even imagine what her home life was like. But what her first reaction, though, is to run after the person that's treating her like crap. I mean, he slaps her, he complains. She was all happy that they had saved his life, and it didn't mean anything to him. But, like, as soon as he runs off, like, she goes to run after him, and so, I don't know. It was a lot going on with Jason this week. But that's all I have about Jason. Whoa, it looks like Sam used to be a shade shady. First, I was really, really shocked, but then didn't his parents kick him out when he was 15 and they found out he could shift? So, you know, I mean, if you got to fend for yourself, you got to fend for yourself. So he had the 80s slicked back hair look. His girlfriend was shadier than him, but that whole thing, it was like, whoa, I have a whole new view of Sam. That was something else. Because yeah, I was at first I was really like, ugh, but then his parents have. I'm pretty sure it's 15. Because wasn't that when you start shifting or something? I remember somebody saying that. So, you know, how much money was that jewelry worth? It didn't look like a lot. If it was that boy could keep it in his pocket or whatever. Anyway, that was really interesting. And it was a great flashback. Russell. I mean, he lost it carrying around Talbot in a duffel bag. Oh my goodness. And that poor hustler guy, that was awful. Russell's still bringing the crazy. I am looking forward to him and Eric next week. I really am. I cannot wait. Well, this week's outfit of the episode is a bit of a tie. The first one is, of course, Pam's outfit. She's bringing it back, finally back on track. Love the leather skirt, love the blue blouse. So that's really my outfit of the episode. Um, the other outfit I'm picking is the blue shirt that Jason was wearing. It looks like the same shirt that Alcee had on like a couple of weeks ago. So I thought that was just kind of funny.